They have to believe and trust in the Lord. They got to follow all these laws. Their sacrifices. It's pretty rugged there, and that goes until Jesus Christ comes on the scene. We're just going to call it around zero. We can move it forward, move it backwards. Byron's
4 BC.
4 BC. There's some people that are a little bit further than that, but
the 613 laws, was that commandments also that they talked about, all the commandments?
if they didn't do one of those, or if they did something that they weren't supposed to do, it was pretty severe. Example is picking up sticks on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
That was considered work, and that person was to be put to death.
I got a list of them if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
So
It-
was the covenant made to cover the 613 laws?
Well, they were under the Old Covenant or the Old Testament. Now you've heard us talk about it, Hebrews 13:8, that God's the same today, tomorrow. But how he deals with a group of people during a particular period of time differs. Yeah. Oh, I meant to back up here. I kind of jumped over human government. Human government came in. He allowed men, women, mostly men, to control the affairs of that. This continues on underneath. So those that weren't in the Hebrew, Israel, Jew arena, or a Gentile that came up and underneath a Jewish family, which we're under now, which Byron has talked about. You remember the chart up there where it shows Israel kind of diminishing, and then Paul's message increasing?
It's like the dinosaurs going extinct.
But both dispensations weren't taught to the same people.
That is true.
At the same time. They were taught, the two different dispensations were taught to two different peoples.
That is true. But at the time, there were two going on.
They were on earth together.
And Acts is where it was crossing up.
And where the contact would come when Saul would show up, he was driving we're going to destroy that little flock.
Yeah, anyway.
Because they didn't believe, huh?
Two people.
Well, Peter had one gospel and Paul had
Circumcision,
another gospel.
uncircumcision. And even like I was telling Byron, in Acts you even see that John the Baptist had, people that only knew the baptism of John at the same time. So his people were still doing that too. So there's more than just Peter and them and Paul and his group. Some people only knew the baptism of John at the exact same time.
Which was okay for them because that's what they were supposed to
Different
follow.
people were hearing different
Same thing with
things.
Peter and his bunch. That's what they were supposed to follow. And they ultimately, if they endure to the end, they will be saved by that and they will be in the kingdom. So it's not that they were doing the wrong thing. It's just that gospel was continuing and it was diminishing as Saul was called on the scene, who became our apostle Paul, and things started to take off. And he's dealing with us under a different set of rules than what Israel or the little
It
flock.
was still the same, though, that as long as they followed that, then they would be saved.
There is no more sacrifice for that individual.
But that's not for us.
No. I just that's an example of enduring to the end.
Salvation,
We get it immediately.
not the grace.
What does Romans 5:11 say? Go ahead and read that out loud.
Yes, sir. And not only so, but we also joy in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom we have now received the atonement.
Now Israel still has to go through their atonement to get their, the cleaning, the washing, the atonement. We got it already. The moment we believed and trusted in that Jesus Christ died for our sins, that he was buried, and he was resurrected on the third day. That's it. We trust that he did that for us, and his resurrection counts as justification for us. Go ahead, Jim.
Never says in Peter's gospel anywhere. I just read Romans 2:5 and Acts. Never said anywhere in his gospel that they were completed Christ. They had that there to be good.
Colossians 2:10 comes to mind. That sounds like your verse. I like that.
That's such a burden to get get saved that way, you know?
But he's absolutely right.
Christ did everything.
100%
100% everything to save you. If he didn't do 100% of everything to save you, you're not saved.
We'd have some
Can't
problems.
do nothing for salvation.
We'd have some
You
problems.
can't.
But you only see that in Paul's epistles. That's
Amen,
why you
brother.
don't
That's it.
see, and
Not
you
before
didn't
God.
put anywhere in there that you need to adhere to the end.
Yeah.
Matthew,
So-
Mark, Luke, and John are not for us.
This is a good time to be saved.
Amen.
Because any of the other ones,
That's right.
it's not been a good time.
Written to.
You're involved in the other one.
As bad as it seems, and it is kind of getting bad in the world, but for us to be saved and for others to be saved, it's very easy to do. You don't have to change a single thing about yourself. You just have to, in your mind, go, I trust this. Now, I would dare anybody not to get better. Most people do get better once they're actually saved.
Once you trust that, it's a done deal.
Done deal.
And
This-
because of him. Not because of Jim, but because of him.
Absolutely.
I don't
Absolutely.
throw myself in there anywhere and say, well, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. There's none good. No, not a single person on this earth is good. Otherwise, he didn't have, there was no reason for him to come.
That's right. There was one person that could have done that. There was no need for Jesus Christ to
Only
come.
one could do it. And it's not anybody here or anywhere else.
Yeah. Problem was, Adam's blood is in every person in here.
That's right.
People don't want to hear you ain't good. No, we ain't. Just look at it.
Huh?
And even the best.
I am now. I am now with the guy that counts.
Only by Jesus Christ is, yeah.
Because if you trust it, the Father above is looking down at every one of you and going, no sin. Child of God. He's one of mine. She's one of mine.
So he ain't even looking at the sack no more. He's looking at what's inside the sack.
There you go.
What's that?
What you truly believe.
Separated
Yeah.
shit like a butterfly shit. or
And
a
it's
moth, you know,
it's
that's what
done
it's gonna do.
and you are sealed.
It's gonna be like a butterfly.
Once the Lord moves into your heart, you cannot take God off your mind. He's there all the
No,
time.
I don't. He's always on my mind. He gets me through life
Okay.
every day life.
All right. Back to this because I'd like to at least get the overall done on this before. I love the interaction that's going on, but I want to be able to say I got done with this part.
I want you to get done.
Yeah.
I want you to keep on.
Yeah. So we actually talked about this already. So the law runs. Jesus gets here. He gets to his priestly days when he turns 30. And the kingdom is at hand. Yeah.